When I get my hands on that slippery weasel, I'm gonna rock his world.
You know, when Jack Black says that line, it's hard to tell whether he means rocking out with a guitar or rocking out with his you-know-what out. Jesse Shade here for Awfully Good Movies on behalf of the JoBlo YouTube network, and boy were we all wrong about that Minecraft movie turning out to be a flop this year, with nearly $1 billion at the box office and counting, no matter how much film Twitter wants to call Jack Black the cinematic Antichrist. But 30 years before he went to the overworld, JB rocked his way to Fantasia, in one of his first big roles as a high school bully chasing after the Free Willy Kid and his gang of fantastical pals, in the third and final entry of the Neverending Story trilogy, proving that Jack Black was capable of poor decision-making long before he starred in Gulliver's Travels or put Tenacious D on hiatus. So let's open our books to Chapter 3 for this chicken jockeying episode of Awfully Good Movies. "15 years after the original How to Train Your Dragon became one of DreamWorks Animation's most beloved movies and biggest franchises, the Dragons of Berk are now getting the live-action remake that I guess someone asked for, with Gerard Butler returning as the dragon-hating Viking warrior whose son learns to love these winged beasts in How to Train Your Dragon. And as creatively bankrupt as it may be for DreamWorks to go down the Disney remake route, at least they brought back the writer and director of the original Dragons trilogy to ensure this classic fantasy tale gets a quality reimagining, which is more than you could say for another fantasy film trilogy for kids based on a book about a boy and his friendly dragon pal, as 1994 marked the ironic end for the Neverending Story with its third and indisputably worst installment, Escape from Fantasia, or as it was originally released overseas, Return to Fantasia. While late great German director Wolfgang Petersen didn't find huge success in America with his 1984 adaptation of Michael Ende's fantasy book about a fantasy book, it was enough of a global success and hit on home video to merit a far inferior sequel from a different director in 1990, which did even worse than the original in America. So series producer Dieter Geisler pressed his luck with a third installment, now from Rambo 3 director Peter McDonald, that unlike the last two, wouldn't be based on the book in any way, and would be made to explicitly tailor to the American market who didn't show up for the first two, specifically by casting breakout Free Willy star Jason James Richter alongside an unknown actor named, what's this guy's name again? That's right, Ned Schneebly. Yet not only did the third entry fail to find success overseas among critics or audiences, where it was released by Warner Brothers like the last two, but it wouldn't hit America for another 2 years until it was dumped in a limited release and then onto home video by Miramax's Family Division. And its god-awful reception from viewers forced this franchise to sink alongside Artax in the swamps of sadness. And having been a young fan of these movies myself, who always had a particular fascination with this especially bad entry, let us head to the library to read the final chapter of a classic fantasy franchise that made viewers lose their hopes and forget their dreams. And for you JoBlo viewers lucky enough to not grow up with the sequel like I did, please do not expect any scenes of Jack Black riding Falcor himself while performing a kick-ass metal song, because that would have happened in a good movie that wasn't currently placed on IMDb's bottom 100 list, right above Spy Kids 4D.
Oh man, this is embarrassing.
Now it's time to fly your luck dragon down to the liquor store to prepare for a never-ending round of the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time there's a badly rendered establishing shot of the magical land of Fantasia, where in the wandering mountains an old man played by the late great British actor Freddie Jones is recording the prophecies of the never-ending story into its pages, and finds out about another evil force about to threaten their land now that kids are reading less books out in the real world. Not the nothing from the first movie or the emptiness from the second one, but rather the nasty.
The nasty. The nasties.
The nasties.
This evil force is known as the nasty.
And no, they don't mean the euphemism for having sex.
To stop the nasty would require a special young human of great imagination and extraordinary courage.
You could say that again.
And with that, we cut to the book-loving young hero of our trilogy, Bastian Balthazar Bucks, recast in this sequel as Jason James Richter, the whale-saving youngster in the Free Willy movies, who's now a teenager running in the halls of high school from Jack Black and his less popular goth band, Joy Nacious Division, and hides from them in a library that happens to be run by the bookstore owner he ran into the last two movies, Carl Coriander, recast here in his second role of the film by Freddie Jones, who still has that magical book in his possession, but as a reference book that can't be checked out of the library.
Under any circumstances.
Yeah, like that's gonna stop Bastian from opening it up anyways and reading up on his backstory so far, as Bastian's widowed father has found new love with a divorcee named Jane Baxter.
Bye-bye, wife.
In addition to no longer resembling the Flash, and has now moved with Bastian into his new wife's house in a new neighborhood, alongside Jane's snotty daughter and Bastian's new stepsister, Nicole, played by Melody Kay from Camp Nowhere.
Please.
Who isn't warming up any better to her new brother after he lets her in on his experience with the magic of Fantasia and the Neverending Story, despite her obvious skepticism.
Please. And I'm listening to you like this is real. You are completely weird.
Wow, this girl's emotions turned all the way up from "aw, you're sweet" to "hello, human resources" out of nowhere. Nicole screws with her stepbrother even further by tricking him before the first day at his new school into doing up his hair with styling gel to make him look like the son of Beekman's World.
You look perfectly impressive.
Nicole, I gotta get this stuff out of my hair.
And this makes Bastian an easy target for the beard gang of bullies who roam the school's halls, known as, what else?
The nasties!
The nasties.
As made up of Natasha Lyonne, Private Vasquez from Aliens, the Kurgan's little brother, the Durgan, some guy who starred in Children of the Corn 2, whose hair looks equally as bad as Bastian's, and their leader Slip, of course, played by a pre-superstardom Jack Black, in one of the many early roles that he had in some high-profile 90s movies, and with a shaved head that makes him look exactly like Vincent D'Onofrio in Full Metal Jacket.
This your first day here, Squirt? Well, I think it'd only be right we personally escort you to the men's room.
Don't go to the bathroom with Gomer Pyle there, Bastian.
Hi.
Bastion?
But just as Slip locks up Bastian in the basement boiler room to face off against Pennywise, they're caught by the school's janitor named Mr. John.
Yo, Mr. John, what's up?
How many times are you dweezils gonna repeat the 12th grade?
Played by the mailroom guy from Elf, who is all too eager to get these overage teenagers kicked out of high school already.
Can you really have them expelled?
Oh, yeah.
He locked me in there to die!
And then he just walks off into the boiler room so that Bastian can get attacked by these nasties anyway after he just squealed on them? Come on, Mr. John! I expect better from a man whose name means a toilet. Now that we're all caught back up in the story, Bastian's only means left of escaping these pursuing nasties is hopping back into the magic book using his magic words,
And I say I return to Fantasia to escape the nasties!
which trigger a laughable transportation effect that looks more like Bastian having a never-ending rave. And in the land of Fantasia, which has now been populated by creature puppets designed by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, Bastian runs back into those comfy old gnomes, Engiwook and Urgle, now played here by Baldric from Black Adder, and who appears to be Martin Short dressed up as his girlfriend Meryl Streep, whose marital bickering throughout the film is more than a little reminiscent of Billy Crystal and Carol Kane from a far better fantasy movie.
Your body's gone! Well, your body went years ago!
Meanwhile, back in the real world, Slip and his nasties have gotten a hold of the book, and soon find out that whoever holds this book can magically change the story on the pages however they want.
It ain't possible!
So then the nasties proceed to get nasty by bombarding the magical land of Fantasia with thunderstorms and fireballs, much to the annoyance of the rest of Fantasia's extremely annoying residents, such as the Bark Troll, a talking 100-year-old tree who speaks in constant Borscht Belt one-liners the whole movie, like he's Krusty the Clown voicing Treebeard.
Get me some baking soda. I'm kindling.
Voiced here by Porkins from Star Wars and Eckhart from Tim Burton's Batman, William Bootkins, who is also voicing the beloved returning character of Falkor the Luck Dragon.
Falkor Land!
Who now appears to have gone from the wise and optimistic companion with great-looking puppet effects from the first two movies to now act like a simpering, stupid coward.
Yeah, am I still in one piece?
Who talks with a dumb guy cartoon voice, like Patrick on SpongeBob.
Well, I heard she escaped to the Wandering Mountains.
That's where we need to go.
And whose cheap puppeteering looks more appropriate for a Universal theme park than it does a major motion picture. The character assassination only gets worse when we get to the Rock Biter. Yes, that gentle giant pile of rocks has now had his family life with his infant son from the last movie now turned into a wacky family sitcom directly in the vein of dinosaurs.
Still turn my lips to lava.
Lava.
Where we've now got the Rockbiter speaking in a Russian accent and married to a browbeating wife with curlers in her hair and taking care of their infant son who is himself addicted to watching TV. Which is something that shouldn't even exist in a fantastical land that only exists when people read books instead of watching TV. Just wait till you see him head out with his diaper-wearing baby on a rock motorcycle singing a rendition of Steppenwolf's Born to Be Wild.
Get your motor running.
Turn it off.
Head out on the highway.
Turn it off!
Looking for adventure.
Because kids will obviously get that reference to Dennis Hopper's Easy Rider. Never before have I seen a franchise murdering itself like this, right in front of its young viewers, like it's an infected victim from the Smile movies. Oh, and as to where Bastion's Native American pal Atreyu is in the sequel, nowhere to be found. As if he sank alongside Artax in the swamps of sadness after watching this scene, which I would not blame him for. So the Fantasians reunite with young Bastion alongside the old storyteller and the childlike Empress, looking not so childlike anymore, and now played by Julie Cox from the miniseries version of Dune, who's escaped from her castle with a royal assistant with a freakishly large head simply named Large Head.
That's using your head.
Christ, the dude looks like the love child of John Merrick and Rocky Dennis, who got cast in DreamWorks' live-action remake of Megamind. Bastion receives the Orin necklace from the Empress that will help him locate where the nasties are hiding the storybook, and the Fantasians try to help him magically wish himself home when who should run in but Junior Rockbiter, who is transported alongside Bastion and the rest of the Fantasians thanks to what is stupidly called a wish overload.
The Fantasians who helped you got caught in a wish overload.
Yeah, it's a load of something, alright. Doesn't this kid have a magical necklace that he can just use to wish these deformed Muppets back where they belong?
Make sure they're in the new Fantasia.
No, Bastion.
Oh, well, that's just great. The Neverending Story franchise has now resorted to the same cheap trick as the original He-Man movie, in just having our magical characters end up transported to the real world for some fish-out-of-water antics that'll save us money on sets. Namely, Junior being stuck on the side of Mount Rushmore in the worst remake of North by Northwest ever, and the bickering gnomes getting stuck in Nome, Alaska. No!
Dad, everything sucks.
We in the audience couldn't agree more, young lad. Thankfully, Falkor and Junior soon reunite with the boy by landing at a nearby Chinese New Year festival.
There's some cute dragons here.
But before Falkor can stick his dick in a dragon puppet, he scares off the pursuing bullies and flies Bastion back home with Junior to make that same overused reference to Steven Spielberg's E.T. Oh yeah, this flick is just as good as E.T. If you replace the alien with an incessantly babbling man-sized baby in a rubber rock suit that makes him look like a talking ton of bird shit. These scenes of Bastion hiding Junior away from his family feel like they go on forever, because Junior is making baby noises the entire fucking time, despite his voice creepily and obviously being that of a grown-ass man.
Are you hungry? We come too, Buster. Right.
Kissy kiss.
Please do not kiss the talking rock pile. The adult actor underneath that suit might be deriving sexual pleasure from it.
Bye-bye.
That baby's got the heart of a demon!
The only person who gets out of this crap alive is Jack Black, who agreed to do this role as a young fan of the original movie himself, and plays this cliched high school bully with a campy yet dark Batman villain energy that I wish he had brought to the role of Bowser.
There's nothing you can do now, Balthazar. I am the king, and you are my slave. And then there'll be no place for you and your little freaky friends to hide.
With Slip and these nasties having a secret lair out in a parking garage, where they devise ways to not only steal this kid's magic necklace, but also rip apart his family.
When we get it, you can kiss your whole new little family goodbye.
Like these high school bullies are Robert De Niro and Cape Fear. Unfortunately, the Orin has already been taken by Bastion's stepsister, thinking it's just a pretty necklace, but discovering that it gives her the powers to tell her nagging teachers to walk out of the classroom.
My cage needs tidying.
As well as a totally awesome shopping spree down at the mall.
Oh gosh, I don't know. We're awfully busy.
Oh, I really wish you would.
Now, when the hell is the Wishmaster gonna pop out of that necklace and kill this girl off already? Thankfully, Bastion can stop her now that he's been reunited with the Park Troll and the gnomes after they've sent themselves to his house in the mail system, and they head down to the mall on Halloween night to get the necklace back while posing as trick-or-treaters dressed as the dollar store Guardians of the Galaxy.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat!
Yet the nasties are one step ahead of them in grabbing this magic necklace.
Yo, Empress!
I'm the new keeper of the book.
The Fantasia that we know will be a thing of the past.
Thus, chaos ensues when Jack Black and his nasties turn both our dimensions into a theater full of screaming kids throwing popcorn during the Minecraft movie. With bug puppets popping up in both dimensions, people fighting each other in the mall long before it's Black Friday, and the love between the parents of both Junior Rockbiter and Bastion Bucks starting to aggressively sour towards breakup territory.
I knew this would happen!
Dad, the nasty is controlling you.
Son, I wish that the nasty was controlling me, but I can't get it up in bed. That's why your stepmother is leaving me! Then Bastion and Nicole tearfully reconcile in the rain after realizing their shared bond over having dead parents, or something like that.
But then something happened.
So let's get to Bastion finally facing off against the nasties, using the full power of the Orin to defeat.
Big man, Balthazar. Put it down. Then we'll see what a big man you are.
Okay then, let's just instead throw the magic necklace aside so that Nicole can instead dictate the supposedly epic final fight scene.
It was as if Bastion was transformed into a deadly combination of Bruce Lee, Steven Seagal, and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Nicole, one of those things is not like the other. So Bastion kicks the nasties' butts and Falcor has them screaming into the night, which unfortunately doesn't do anything to fix the apparently sad ending for the love between Junior's parents and Bastion's parents.
I'm going to be a rolling stone!
So with one last tearful farewell, I'll miss you least of all, Jewish comedian tree. The Fantasians get strobe lighted back to Fantasia with the Orin, which they use to end this insanity by wishing for the help of the one person who could possibly end all this chaos. Mr. John, the high school janitor! I'm kidding, they just wish for things to go back to normal. So Bastion and Nicole are reunited with their now reconciled parents, Junior reunites with his fellow piles of dried dog shit back in Fantasia, and the nasties are now back in school, acting fully rehabilitated and civilized.
You kids better run along. We mustn't be late for our classes.
Heavens no.
Oh gosh, no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So that Jack Black can one day go from being a student at the School of Rock to becoming its teacher. So now's as good a time as any for Bastion to hand the storybook back into the safe hands of Mr. Coriander,
The story's not over yet, young man.
whose threat of a Neverending Story 4 would thankfully, mercifully, not come to pass. And which song could they possibly close out the end credits on? Why, of course not!
Yeah, that ain't gonna make it happen.
Well, there you have it, folks. I'm glad to report that Jack Black did not actually kill the art form of cinema with the Minecraft movie, because it turns out that JB had already killed the art form of cinema as part of the production of the Neverending Story III, Escape from / Return to Fantasia. It just had to take us 30 years to finally realize it.
This is embarrassing.
Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some.
Neverending Story 3 also has the honor of being the only entry in this franchise to have a soundtrack largely made up of hit pop songs. And the artist they enlisted for this flick is absolutely insane. There's a song here from Aaliyah, written by R. Kelly after they had gotten illegally married while she was very much underage.
You're killing me, man!
We've got songs from both Meatloaf and the guys who did the Dave Bow Bow song. One of these songs even has Mark Wahlberg as a featured rapper.
What?
And see if you can hear what song is playing in the background of this scene.
You'll only get divorced again.
Yes, that's right. Kiss from a Rose by Seal, 1 year before it became better known on the soundtrack for Batman Forever. And though Jack Black has reportedly never wanted to discuss this early career embarrassment of his, he did jokingly bring it up while discussing sequels in a 2018 Nerdist interview as, quote, the movie that never needs to be seen. And I don't think you can get it on DVD, videotape, or anything. It's gone. It's been scrubbed from the universe. Thankfully, he's wrong. You fellow bad movie enthusiasts can find some discontinued DVDs or foreign Blu-rays of this flick online like I did. And it is worth it to behold one of the truly worst sequels in all of film history. A complete betrayal of the simplicity and wonderment of the first Neverending Story by trying in vain to appeal to the dumb American market with pop culture references and pop songs, instead of any actual celebration of the power of imagination or reading. And while the second movie certainly has its own set of problems, Escape from Fantasia is on a whole other level, as both an amusingly awful time capsule of the 90s and a frustratingly undercooked follow-up to a still timeless childhood classic. But now that the estate of Michael Enda has recently announced plans for a new series of live-action Neverending Story movies, I think we know damn well which star of the Minecraft movie we would want cast as the now adult Bastian Balthazar Bucks. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, the Neverending Story 3 Escape from Alcatraz, Fantasia, proves just how effective Lionel Hutz's lawsuit against the first movie truly was, and cries out the Empress's name to a 6 out of 10. Much like the Minecraft movie, it will also have you throwing popcorn while you watch it towards the screen in anger. I'm Jesse Shade for the JoBlo YouTube network, and thanks again for watching our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the JoBlo Awfully Good Movies channel. Tell all your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notifications for all our latest videos. We are an independent company that appreciates all of your support. And as for reviewing the other bad sequel of this franchise from the 90s,
that's another story.
You wish it? Orin makes it happen. You're very lucky.
That chicken's got the heart of a demon!
I'm a stone man.
He's a stone man!
I'm a stone man.
He's a stone man!
On a stony, stony way.
On a stony, stony way!
Yo, maybe he's hiding in one of these books. Yo, Balthazar!
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.